Good evening, RPG Limit Break and Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise fans. We have a treat for you all tonight. This round of 16 matchup, as it starts tonight, is a clash of champions. Allie, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful and excited to be here for this race.
See, we have these two relative unknowns in the community, xPankraz and Dustygriff. I think I've heard their names before, but seriously, what all have each of them won again previously? Tournament wins, etc.?
Let's see, Dustygriff was winner of the World of Free Enterprise and ZZ3, whereas Pankraz was the winner of Lolly Ho League and the runner-up for ZZ4.
So this is basically a rematch, a year in the making. Our last spring tournament, Lally Ho League, these were the two finalists. Dustygriff ran down some rabbit holes then, and I'm sure is very excited to play a high completion flag set. And we'll see if he can get a little vengeance here, reclaim a little pride. But of course, Pankraz is the person to beat in Free Enterprise right now. Probably the hottest player out there. Tons of people picking him to win this whole shebang, and hasn't dropped a match yet in this, not even a game yet in this tournament. So this is going to be exciting. Little baby Rydia, though. What you think about little baby Rydia, Allie?
Well, you know my thoughts on little baby Rydia, because she's precious, and give her a heroine robe and some bow and arrows, and she is a tiny murder child.
Wouldn't it be, I'm just sitting here thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have heroine robes in real life? Like, I don't think I have, that much wisdom to lose anyway. Just pop that on and boom, you're stronger, you're faster, you're just having a great time. You probably don't want to give me a bow and arrow, though.
No, I'd probably do better with something like a hammer or something less likely to hurt myself.
Well, we will probably be seeing at least one of those options. With the party size 4, it's very hard-pressed to keep a Rydia down the entire seed for the sake of her low agility and, of course, the mechanic of agility anchoring. So it'll be interesting to see how our runners put her to work this seed. How are these objectives looking to you?
Well, if you want some experience for that, Rydia, complete the Giant of Babel. Conquer the Vanilla Mazimune altar. Complete the Sealed Cave. Those are a lot of key objectives with experience.
I do like that the oh, by the way, shout outs to our restreamer, Harumph, and our tracker, Dubward. Harumph did not roll a Cave Magnus tonight, but instead our runners are going to basically what you consider like the 4, even 5 corners of the world, right? Giant of Babel is the furthest you go that way. Masamune Altar, bottom of the Lunar subterranean, all the way down to Sealed Cave. And I'd even say that they have the hook route for Falcon, and then that forge, just the tail end, 2 items that don't gate anything. We could be in for a long seed here.
Well, and what about 2 tiny murder children?
All right, you two have a fun little play date together. Take care, kids. Don't crash the airship. It's impressive how young you can get your pilot's license in the world of Final Fantasy IV.
Well, and notably not starting with a key item, just a samurai armor, which notably neither one of these runners or these small children can wear.
For what it's worth, I would be very surprised if either Pankraz or Dustygriff was wearing samurai armor in real life as well, so I don't think you were that far off. Each one going to a different ruined castle out the gate. Pankraz heading to Evelyn for its relatively higher loot, but 3 trap chests that these kids ain't dealing with. And Dusty gonna go ahead and get that hovercraft launch and get a little loot from Damsey Basement.
Well, and there are no objectives. Well, no, never mind. We gotta do the Falcon. We actually need to launch this thing.
And getting a few handy little items out of there. That grimoire, what is the most number of times you've ever re-rolled a grimoire and gotten Chocobo or Mist Dragon when you really just wanted to see something that would wipe your fight?
See, I get really lucky and get Odin. I mean, not good lucky, but lucky.
Honestly, the most notable gear I've seen Pankraz pull so far is that dancing dagger in the back of Eblin. Of course, they're relatively affordable in shops, but that's a thing that will let anyone who can use it do a few hundred damage to these early game fights. Even a baby Rydia can dish out decent damage with one of those. And I believe that's all 3 monster chests, so everything else here is now free for the taking, as long as you don't forget where they were placed.
Meanwhile, Dustygriff is going to go see what Bedward has for us today. Will it be a key item? Will it be nothing?
We got the hook. Pretty nice pickup here. We'd love to add a third character to this team. Even if they don't have much to contribute, at least having another body on the field will help keep these two alive. And there's some gated shops down there.
And we see Dusty picking up that dancing dagger that you were talking about earlier. And that's a heroin rope.
It looks like your dream will soon be achieved. Need to get a good whip or a good bow and arrow. Maybe those gated shops in Eblin Cave will get these little archers online.
Definitely. And Eblin's the cave down to the hook route is just a nice place to get some loot. There is one trap chest, but once you find that, it's a little bit higher tier than you might find in some of these other areas.
Here we go. Item shops, cabins, and Thor Rages, both very handy dandy things to have. This one thing this tournament has done is because you don't want to go into every single town shopping for items, and we've seen a lot of runners having to make do in the Lunar subterrane with relatively low supplies. But these shops here in Troya have so many of those guaranteed overworld items, ungated items.
It's always nice to know where you can find your Star Veils for an early Wyvern, Golbez, Asura combo.
Pankraz picking up the hook as well. Dusty already headed over. Gonna see what lies beyond this cave.
And Pankraz not looting the little treasury in Troya, not gonna pick up that heroin robe.
Ooh, that could make a difference. And the first 2 chests of Eblin Cave still also being very nice down here. A Gaia drum. Pankraz did get one of those. And then a Sork robe and a black shirt. If we do want to convert these children into mages in the long run, that's pretty darn good body armor for doing so.
And there's your Hourglass 2s. Very, very nice J item. Can do so many nice things early on, late game. It can give you your grind.
Yep, and given that we are on T Pro, so all the chests in general far less good than they were back in the opening round of the tournament. So having those just completely nullify anything in a trap chest for your chance of getting that good loot, pretty nice. And notably, there was a samurai bow for sale there as well. So Pankraz is rocking Dragon Whip, Power Shirt, Bandana Rydia. Let's see if Dusty can find a weapon to put on his.
And Dusty looks like gonna stop opening chests for now. Maybe we'll walk out and open the rest, but picked up a lot of good things.
Speaking of good things, I think that our powerful children may be on the clock, because this is a free cane down the hook route, and that is an edge on Hobbs. All of a sudden, I think Rydia as an anchor may be back on the menu.
Now, Pankraz not taking that Rydia down first, did get a few levels, but you find something like a cursed ring or just a different character later on, and you really don't have to worry about that.
Big bomb in that one chest on that screen of Hobbs. Even more J items just to fling through all these early game fights. Even if you don't have weapons for that edge yet, just toss a few of those and call it a day.
And Dusty, immediately finding that trap chest, knows that he can loot the rest of the way out of here with no worries. Maybe find a weapon for that cane. Blitz Whip is not the dream.
Yeah, and we did see Asura at the Ruby spot, so all of a sudden, anti-mage weaponry is going to be at a premium for these runners. Asura, not a bad fight there at all. You can nullify all her damage. She won't even attack you while you put up all of the blinks you care to. And her magic, of course, can be nullified by just doing double Star Veil. And yeah, pretty generous boss, but you're gonna want to find a good source of damage so you tear through her quickly, rather than sitting there eating counter after counter after counter punch.
And we see Golbez here in the Antlion Cave. Pankraz immediately taking down that Porum. That way, not having to worry about the Shadow Dragon eating one of his characters, most notably the Edge, which is just a really heads-up play, and should be through this pretty quickly with the number of J items we have found.
Oh, and speaking of weapons, anti-mage weaponry, conveniently enough, the Evelyn Weapon Shop also has rune axes. So, not the best accuracy, and it is two-handed, so you don't get a shield, but, you know, quadruple damage, may be a good investment here at some point.
And Runex is something that Kain can wear to the final fight. It isn't great, but it gets the job done on Zeromus.
Yep. Pankraz is going to throw that big bomb he found on Hobbs. Golbez does take double damage from fire, so that one's in the bag. Let's see what this Antlion Cave gives. Well, we already have a white mage. We already have two really good fighters. Iridia has a ton of utility as well. I will be very surprised if we end up sitting through a package check with either of these runners.
Agreed. There is no one that is worth that time based on what we already have. If this was still, say, group flags, that would be completely different if you saw a Fu or a Cecil, but oh, these sisters are about to have a really bad time.
Now, we don't see Dusty immediately throwing J-Items here. Going to be using these dancing daggers instead. Going to try to, I suppose, preserve those for a rainier day. Runex, Kane's first hit of the seed against an enemy in a middle row. 4 digits of damage. Hit those weaknesses. But also not knocking this Iridia down. I would be, as soon as I have the two physical fighters here and the white mage, the temptation just hits so hard. We'll see if there ends up being any enemies that make our runners regret these choices. Probably not. They're both expert runners, and the team's really strong. But you know, sometimes you just hope there's some little nasty wrinkle in a seed, just for all our macabre pleasure and entertainment.
Well, and as chat points out, there is a lot of required experience in this seed. So while you may not get Iridia all the way to nuke with it, unless you have to fight everything, you'll still get her high enough that she can be pretty viable.
And also, there's another thing that I think we should not undersell the strength of on this flag set. With that lack of the back row glitch, all of a sudden getting a really good bow and arrows paired with a heroine robe is ridiculously good. You find Artemis arrows and pair it with that samurai bow we saw for sale, and Iridia will very quickly become your Dragon Slayer. Pankraz does have that Dragon Whip, which gets most of the job done, but Artie arrows are in a league of their own.
And Pankraz is very quickly getting through those Kaipo guards, picking up a tower key. Not immediately useful, but if this is a required hook seed, you can immediately go back in and just full clear that tower.
Oh yeah, and with Destroy the Super Cannon as objective number 7, it's a very nice quick play. You get to flip your airship back to the Enterprise in case you need to do hovercraft motion. It's very nice to have that when you're heading down underground.
And both of these runners showing off just inventory management during cutscenes. This is always just such a joy to watch for me because how they keep track of everything, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, if you look back at older tournaments, like Zima Zone 2 and even Zima Zone 3 to an extent, not a lot of runners doing that. But the thing is that ATB's frozen during all these animations, so why not take advantage of it and, just spruce things up a little bit.
Just taking care of a little bit of spring cleaning here. But Golbez cutting that a little bit short, taking out the Rydia, says no more organizing today.
And Dusty here's still not... Okay, there we go. We saw it back at the Maga Sisters, doing a whole lot more normal attacks instead of, burning through these J items. But their utility drops off significantly after the first 25-30 minutes of a seed. So, use them if you got them. And Valvalis here at a very... how would you describe this spot, Allie?
Is this the one where she doesn't get any physical or magic resistance?
Right. She does get physical, though, I believe, but we still have plenty of J items. We have vampires and fire bombs, and we can cast ninja magic.
And throw dancing daggers.
Yeah, so we have no shortage of things to fling. And even her punches, I dare say, so this Porum's at 7 HP, right? I think Val could punch this Porum, and the Porum would still live.
Well, Porum is going to steal Valvalis' life force, says, I am the Fiend of Wind now, and getting through that first fight on Ordeals.
It's kind of cute, we got that hook from Edward, and then since then we've seen two of the three bosses that cannot gate your underground progress. Pardon me. Golbez and Val cannot gate your only way underground, along with Wyvern. Are we going to go 3 for 3 on the overworld?
The runners, I'm sure, would love to see it.
Yeah, getting Wyvern out of the way early, especially if it's in a spot where you don't have to even... Just because you're so fast, and again, Pankraz has a Dragon Whip for quad damage versus the thing. If you can get through that fight without burning Star Veils, all of a sudden you feel a lot more comfortable about using this 4-pack you got at the start for the entire seed. Golbez out of the way, a common source of Star Veil usage. We know Asura's down there. She'll probably merit using 2 of them if we don't get access to the moon and go, top down through the seed. But it's just nice to know I do not have to go find... I don't have to go buy more Star Veils. We have seen them for sale, of course. Troya.
Yep. And we see an octopus down on Pankraz's side. I do think that Dusty will have a little bit of an easier time, as he did pick up a Thunderclaw. Can throw that on that edge and just shred through that Octomam.
Oh yeah, getting the double damage there will be nice too.
And finding a tent. I get very excited about tents and cabins and chests. For all the reasons you talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get stuck on the moon without camping supplies. Meanwhile, one, another Thunder Week boss right here, like you mentioned. 2, that's a Twin Harp. Not on the list of requirements today, but could still be necessary.
Well, and do you do the Twin Harp before... Sorry, I got distracted by Odin. Do you do that Twin Harp before doing Hook?
It's kind of tricky. Because, of course, that is a check that... I don't think I do this time, and I'll tell you why. It is specifically because Launch the Falcon is required anyway. If I think my team is comfy doing that, I'm going to delay the Twin Harp check until something like I just have more physical output. I have Berserk and better weapons for my characters. I have just walked on all the damage tiles in Fey March and Sylph Cave, and I would like the free heal anyway. Things of that nature. if this weren't Launch the Falcon for number 3, yeah, I think you'd absolutely do it before you go down that route.
Or if it was something a little bit nastier guarding that hook route, like, say, a turtle or an evil wall.
Oh, yeah. Then you'd probably still try to fish for that Magma Key and just say, I will do that other crap maybe after the Giant. I'm good for now.
And Dusty trying to steal from Valvalis, failing. I don't even know that you can steal from bosses. Ooh.
We have one edge, yes, but what about second edge? I would like to also now offer yet another very relevant reason for not going to Magnus yet. I would like to have at least one Siren in my pocket, because with 2 edges and a Porum, you can steal so much wine so fast from any formation with a plain ogre in it up in the Cave Magnus.
And we have a freebie here in Baron Inn. Yeah, that's the second of our free bosses here on the overworld. So less bosses to be free in nastier spots.
It's kind of tricky though. Having 2 edges can be a very costly endeavor to maintain, just because they have the best stuff to buy for them, of course, Ninja Blades, probably in a gated shop, 66,000 a piece times 4 on an S-quarter seed. That's too much money.
I might not know math, but that seems like a big number.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. There is a Galaxy Brain play here that I would love to see either run or do. You can do... There is a glitch that still remains in Free Enterprise called the Sneak glitch. When you steal an item with Edge, as long as the next character in the party order has their menu up, you can equip anything. It doesn't matter. Not anything. Any weapon that goes in a hand or a shield, left hand, right hand. As a kid, I'd get silver shields for Rydia this way. You could theoretically equip your Edge with Earth Hammers from the Stillman chest instead of investing in all those Ninja Blades. Yeah, that's probably not the best call.
I mean, I kind of want to just glitch harps onto everyone.
Unironically, that is super fun to do with Yang because his weapon algorithm doesn't care about weapon strength anyway. So definitely do that sometime and beat your Zeromus with the power of rock. Hey, there is the mute knife in the shop. Taking 2 of them. I like it. I like it.
2 edges, 2 mute knives. I mean, you could pick up a third and throw it on Rydia.
Speaking of which, there goes that power shirt. We're taking that back.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense because, yeah, no.
And FF4FE is gonna go ahead and head here to Cave Magnus. Hasn't even peeked that hook route yet.
I wonder if FF4FE takes the cane at that hook route or just sticks with what he's got with 2 edges.
It is a little tricky, isn't it? Because, again, cane needs only 1 good weapon. Edge technically needs 2 if you're going to really, really be taking him all the way to Zeromus, so... But have we seen a good weapon for anybody yet? Anyone? Bueller?
We found mute knives.
That's true. One of the best weapons in the game, sure, but it's not what I'd really call a Zeromus weapon.
Rune axes?
Alright, clearly we just need to grind to Nuke and Holy and let the children take care of this.
Yeah, just get all the health on the boys, let them be chemists, and take out Zeromus that way.
I like it. Now we're getting somewhere. Rydia and Porum standing here. No kamikazes, no coffins, but 1 dose of the Dark Elf's triple spell ought to knock these children down.
This is always miserable when you have things that resist elemental damage on, and then you have to wait for the week.
Yeah. But the good news for all of us is Twin Harp music. And we don't have simultaneous runners at Twin Harp. So we're probably going to get double Twin Harp tonight. Very fortunate.
But we'll be quiet now.
Okay. Hey, Allie.
I believe that is the triple.
What if we go 3 for 3 on the get? Yep. We have gone 3 for 3. And that's a rat tail.
Well, we have a hook.
Yeah.
And hey, Porum knows exit.
Even better. I was a little worried because, of course, Pankraz's Porum did not survive every overworld fight, but still made sure to have enough levels to get that exit spell. You do not want to be walking out of that cave in this matchup.
No, that's kind of the walk of shame. Not nearly as bad as walking out of the Lunar subterrane, but still pretty bad.
Yeah. And Dusty, meanwhile, has elected to ditch the Rydia, going full Zerker power here. You have a heroine robe to keep that Porum as fast as the fellas, and there's a there's also that.
That seems good.
Hello, Darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
That makes for some very interesting divergent options here.
And Dusty heading to the Magnus Cave, so gonna pick up that rat tail and pick up that darkness crystal. So it's not like one runner is getting to check out the moon 30 minutes before the other.
Yeah, this is, again, a little curious, of course, with the... we didn't see a save outside. We know Wyvern's here. Leviathan summon right after you get rid of Rydia. Seed's got jokes. I wonder if Dusty will take a safety save here. The team is speedy, but Wyvern at this spot can still just kind of, you can sit there dumbfounded and not get your Starvels up anyway. Not that I've ever done that before and just gotten my face blarged off.
I mean, yeah. Not gonna safety save though. Gonna run right in.
Are we all going to have to get a stern talking to from Scala Kitty again?
Look, I told the runners before the match started, save.
Dusty is going to save a little bit of time on phase 1 of the Dark Elf, 3 metallicized fighters, and did have a Kamikaze kicking around. And I think that means it's time for an Illusion of Gaia Encore, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Be right back, chat. Enjoy. Two Starveils for Dusty as well, and the dragon goes down. Gonna be rewarded with the rat tail, and we know what that leads to. Notably, Pankraz did not launch the well, did not want to even check the Lunar shops for the character, appears to be very content with this team, and is just more interested in getting underground. And frankly, I would really want to be seeing these gated item shops with this party as well. Getting underground in a hurry makes perfect sense.
Well, and Pankraz, I believe, bought some hourglasses and is looking for this Mad Ogre chest.
Has the mute knife on, well, I believe on at least one edge. So quadruple damage versus them, nice little source of XP, chance at a big ticket item. But annoyingly, it's in the final chest right before the bosses. The one chest that's past the save point, and that's where they're hiding this evening.
Well, doesn't save, so looks like is going to probably go ahead and try and take it on, or just no, going to take it on. Good.
Yeah, we're not YOLOing that first spot. We know that Dark Knight Cecil's not in the pool. He gave us the starting item, but your team's not really anchored. There are so many fights that would just ruin your day at the King Queen Eplin spot. Some folks think we should just get rid of that boss fight altogether.
Well, and I wonder if we're going to see a whole bunch of Bacchus wines.
Ooh, the Cry command, of course. Niche utility makes it easier to steal. We have two edges. Pankraz did not take a Dragoon. And since we did already do Cave Magnus, you don't want to go back there to get them.
And there is always the option of the trap chests in Eblin, but that's even worse.
Yeah. We are getting a bunch of fails. There we go. Finally getting some wine. Cry command going off. Going to try to fluster these ogres. Make our wine grind a little easier. I really like this play. You have two edges. You only have the one white mage. You don't want her pulling, triple duty. Zerking, blinking the entire team. Getting the wine here in this efficient a manner. Very, very great play by Pankraz.
Well, and wine is expensive, and ninja swords are expensive. So, yeah, buy less wine and more ninja swords.
I like it. Dusty here, picking up a pack of hourglasses as well.
And also picking up some heal potions. Maybe for something sneaky, or maybe just doesn't want to listen to the poison walk sound.
Pankraz deciding that's enough juice for now. Samurai Helm, not the dream. The real reward there, of course, did do the life glitches to get 7 ogres for the price of 4. Porum's still 1 level short of Blink, I think. I think she gets that at 23. I'm not positive, though. I'm probably conflating her with Quake on Palom. So, nevertheless, though, got good levels on the kids. Got a decent weaponry for an Asura fight. But if you want to do a double Starveil trick, you are then out of Starveils for the entire rest of the seed. Until you go shopping. Which, do you really want to go buy more Starveils when you've already seen Golbez and Wyvern? I don't want to.
And really, the only other boss I can think of that you really want those Starveils for is probably Bahamut, if he's in a very high HP spot.
Yeah. Now, Dusty here not opening a single chest. So not going to be loading up on wine. It's Porum's level 21. This is it's a little frisky. It's a little frisky. Ugh! Yeah. We were speaking of nasty enemies we could find here, and the fact that Pankraz was definitely going to save beforehand, and that is one of them. Bomb here going to be super fast, super punchy. I don't think anyone on this team survives a hit. And then the baby bombs. The baby bombs are just as scary as the mom is here.
Even the explosion is nothing to sneeze at here. And Dusty also getting the bad news. Gonna throw a Drain Sword.
I guess that'll help a little bit. All right, only 4,500 HP to get. Ow. Ow. I think it is. This may be YOLO the Grimoire time. Mom Bomb 2, Runner 0.
I mean, you can always pull a Bahamut out of there.
Leviathan helps. There we go. Good YOLO. But really, not even breaking the 3,000 damage mark. But we are seeing explosion time. I think you absolutely have to use either like double Gaia drum right after the explosion here, or even consider an hourglass. These 6 bombs are going to be punching so hard, you have to take them down or neutralize them immediately.
Poor Porum. She tried. Chat asking a very good question about whether or not Mom Bomb can be Zantexukind. Maybe the baby bombs?
Baby bombs can, the mom can't. Alright. Now, does this Gaia drum go off in time? A swing and a miss from a gray bomb. Oh, one more hit. Edge surviving with 21 HP. I think this Gaia drum does it.
That's 20 more HP than you need.
That is... I am honestly, no disrespect to Dusty, I am very surprised he got through that fight first try. It required skill, but it also required no small amount of luck there, especially with that Leviathan pull.
And going for the swag on Asura. Meanwhile, FF4FE getting through Mom Bomb. Did he kill without the baby bombs?
I am not positive. Chat is saying, yeah, explosion skip. That's the other way to not deal with 6 very punchy baby bombs. Just kill beforehand.
But we do see Star Veils going off, putting a slow on this Asura. And FF4FE also going immediately into this fight, no saving.
I mean, both these runners know who they're up against. These are both free enterprise champions competing for this win. It is a best of 3, but you do not want to be down 1-0. So you do have to take some risks, but frankly, with the amount of damage that FF4FE is putting out here, I don't think it's a risk on his side. Dustygriff is going to need this cane to land more hits. Again, we talked about the accuracy of the Rune Axe, but I saw a jump land for under 3,000 damage, I think. That is not what we're looking for here.
And looks like is just going to kind of wait on this edge. Maybe wants to throw some curatives if things go south.
FF4FE, meanwhile, dealing over 6,000 with one edge and 2,500 with the other. Yeah, I think FF4FE, in spite of the Mom Bomb issues, is going to be the first one through this fight. There's the crumble. And FF4FE taking that lead back by a nose.
And FF4FE is also going to be the first one of our runners to have an objective on the board with Launch the Falcon.
Yeah, it's kind of cute because, you know, the time that he spent getting those Bacchus wines absolutely paid off here. But only has 4 left and still has, you know, we still have 2 edges we'd like to get better equipment on. We have, and, you know, FF4FE is all about speed rather than being a full-on loot goblin like some of us. I'm wondering how he's going to outfit this team and what he's going to prioritize down here.
And it looks like Dustygriff is trying to lifelock this Asura. Maybe.
There's still a wall up on her. I understand the concern that that wall will drop. And if you've not passed a certain threshold of, it's between 13 and 14,000 damage, once you pass that point, Cure 4 will not fully heal her. But the Cure 3s can still do work. It's just, it's very scary, the prospect of having to reset this fight, especially when you got through the Mom Bomb fight with no small measure of luck.
And
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, chat was asking who was at the top of Lower Babel. It was a Rubicante sprite, so it's either Elements or Leg himself. Sorry.
Leg here is one of those nice spots that you can just zerk up your party and not have to worry about those Fire 2 counters, as the magic spot is so low at this spot. Gonna be a little punchy, though.
Yeah. I wonder if... I've seen an impressive claw collection here. I know Pankraz has a Thunder Claw and a Charm Claw. If he has an Ice Claw, oh yeah, this is very nice. And you could even break out the Ice Claw Mute Knife combo for what I believe is times 16 damage on the Ruby part if it's an Elements fight.
And Dusty has gotten through this Asura. Gonna go ahead and launch his Falcon. And here's another boss you would like to see in a really easy spot.
You gave both answers. As a runner, you want to see it in an easy spot. In chat, I'm sure people were hoping for something a little nastier with this Ogopogo, but 2 swings, that Nope Rope is down, no problems here. And yeah, the difference in those Asura fights really highlighting how important accuracy is in this game. The Runex was doing its best, but it's just hard to land hits with, what is its base accuracy, like 65 or so? Yeah, just was not landing what it needed to there.
And Pankraz, of course, heading straight up the tower, gonna take out these 2 bosses. Gonna go ahead and save. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, we did take his team did take a little over half their HP in damage. Well, maybe a little under. Within a point or two of half their HP from Ogopogo's double wave, of course. So, getting the heal, powering up. And let's see if this is Elements or if it's Ruby.
And Dustygriff going the exact same way, but is going to go ahead and try to find some sirens.
Notably, though, finds a Gungnir Spear there. I think I like that a lot better than a Rune Axe just because of the accuracy option, and you'll get to do double damage versus some floating enemies. Ooh, it is Elements. Are we going to get to see an Ice Claw Mutant Knife combo attack? Fingers crossed.
We see the flame come out.
And Dusty gets a self-summon from that trap chest. Not the most thrilling thing. I would be a little... We are going to get a lot of XP this seed, right? We have so many places to go, so many things to do. A little surprised to see the looting here, though, just in case you do decide, wait, I need 3 sirens to get my team just over a hump or something, you know? So taking down all the alerts... what are you hoping to spike here? There is a theoretical chance of an adamant armor. And you do have a lot of heavy hitters to load up with gear, but...
And Pankraz making it through that fight. I didn't see what Dusty picked up.
I think it's just more stuff for the Sullen. And we do get the Legend Sword from up here, another required item that's part of, it's 1/2 of objective number 6, so a very lucrative lower Babel in terms of objective completion. Oh yeah, it was a Runex. I was going to make a joke about that. Like, you always find the item that you've already paid out the wazoo for.
Did find a middle sword, which is notably less damage than a Mute Knife, I think. But Pankraz, ignoring all of these chests, might come back later if he needs some of those sirens.
Now that's a pretty nice drop. White shirt, of course, basically the premium gear for a white mage that's not named Adamant Armor or Heroin Robe. Heroin Robe has... It's kind of a curious thing here, because Dusty's Porum is in the middle slot, right? So she gets the bonus spell accuracy to make up for the harm to the spellcasting stats. And being able to cast Zerk here in a hurry might be helpful in some of these fights. It's so interesting to me seeing, a race like this where neither runner is really going in on agility anchoring, because it's who is gaining time and how are they doing it. It's a lot more subtle than it is just when you have, slap a curse string on someone and now we know what the turn order is.
And we did only see a crystal ring from the cannon room.
And Pankraz still refusing to loot, just gonna make do with the weaponry he has, apparently.
There's the magma key. So helpful.
Hey, we're up to 2, 4, 6, 8 key items. Ah.
And does find some silk webs here for sale. Looks like gonna sell anything that isn't useful.
72,000. That's enough to afford one Ninja Blade if they're for sale in this town.
Well, those are ninja hats. But no Ninja Blade here in the Fey March.
Can we just make it so every enemy has an exploitable weakness and just make do with our Mute Knives and our Thunderclaws? That'd be great. Nope's out of there in a hurry. That was Antlion on the left and a Lunar Sparkle on the right. Cannot be Wyvern or Ogopogo at this point. Plague would be doable. I don't think this team is really anxious to fight a Peldim or a D-Lunars, though.
No, with 2 edges and a cane, that would be slow. Well, until the frogs come out, but then you have to go buy more Star Veils, and nobody wants to do that.
That's true. We did bring up, the whole, when do you go back for more Star Veils? Which bosses really merit it? D-Lunars, kind of a relevant one.
Finding some coffins for sale here in Dwarf Castle does take him to 52,000. So if there's some some Ninja Blades here,
nope. Does show the money on a tiara though, curiously. And Dusty here slowly grinding through these elements, just doing not a lot of damage. Ruby using the curse that was already queued up, because although the sprite changes, the first 2 are technically the same enemy.
That's so rude.
And of course is using that Gungnir instead of the Rune Axe, so not getting quad damage from Kain on this phase either.
And we do see the Dark Imps here. Probably going to be able to put those coffins to work.
Does burn an hourglass, though. Does Pankraz have an assassin knife kicking around?
Yes.
All right, then with that... Oh, go ahead.
Yep, there on that top edge.
Yeah. Yeah. Timing that hourglass to where the Dark Imps got their final punch in, but left their ATB back at 0 and vulnerable to... First we're going to kill you, then we're going to make you shut up. Adding insult to injury to these poor little implings.
Does want to get a little bit more health back on some of these party members, as you never know what might be around the corner.
And a very lucrative 35,000 XP for this team. Even without Sirens, these levels, they keep coming.
And that is a Mist Dragon. Of course, having free key items on, not really that exciting, but we get to see one of the best hands in the whole game.
Ooh, ooh, spooky hand! Spooky hand is coming. You actually do get to be excited about seeing the D-Mist here, just because this team gets to kill it in the first cycle. You're not going to see a Mist phase. Ideally. Ideally. Don't see a Mist phase, Pankraz. Come on. Come on, man. Okay, there we go. Because this team, again, is very physical damage oriented, right? The Rydia's lying on the floor, not going to probably be getting to nuke anytime soon, or other big damaging spells, so you don't want to have D-Mist pending at a 65,000 HP spot where you're going to sit through a ton of those phase shifts because you can't Zerk up lest you eat, 24 more Cold Mists. Just a bad time.
And Zoomwalkful asking a question about the elements in chat. If you heal them enough, do the elements revert back to the previous one? No, actually. I know that from experience.
Yeah, every time an enemy undergoes a phase shift in combat, it sets a new flag, but they don't have anything in their script that says set the flag back if they get healed back up to a previous threshold. Earth Crystal's pretty nice. You think we're going to actually go there? I mean, the treasury part. I assume we're going to go
No.
Just going to ride Mute Knife and Assassin Knife all game long? All right, if you insist.
I feel like if Pankraz was going to open, or if he hasn't looted anything in the last, 25 minutes, I don't know that you spend the time to go to the treasury. Meanwhile, Dusty might, since he has taken so many of those trap chests, may be feeling, hey, I really would like some decent gear for my team.
Yeah, and honestly, the loot here is the big difference in what has caused Pankraz to take this lead. Just the edges had slightly better gear, and Dusty's been looting these places, but just hasn't found the stuff to give his team damage output. And still looting. Some say he's looting even to this day. And just, okay, there. That's a step up. Finally, something came up right in the looting. But currently behind the entire dwarf castle, little rough.
Yep, but did pick up a silk web and that ninja sword. But yeah, still looking for something. Not that Leviathan summon, but something.
Yeah, I am wondering here. I think that if the treasury here does have a lot of, if Pankraz goes there and it has a lot of good ninja weapons, Pankraz is about to be richly rewarded for not having done nearly the degree of looting and trap chest checks that Dusty's done. If, on the other hand, he fades it, or it's a bunch of junk that's not good for this team, I think that gives Dusty a decent shot at coming back here, especially since he did get that ninja blade for one of his edges.
And is going to check this treasury.
Great that treasury!
Lunar Staff, Dragon Whip, Boomerang, Charm Arrows, and Hourglass ain't bad. Lightsaber's good for throwing, some apples for Porum HP, yet another Mute Knife, and there is a Ninja Sword. Alright. I think at this point you are just overjoyed that there is a Ninja Sword in here of literally any variety.
And Dustygriff is going to take on this plague. Definitely going to be doable, especially with only having 1 HP on most of your party.
Yeah, anytime he wants to get a reset, he can. And this top edge with the boomerang, you're getting to do double damage. 23,000 HP at the spot, so take about 11 to 12 hits.
And Pankraz is going to go up the Tower of Zot. I'm surprised neither of our runners have launched that Lunar Whale.
I mean, when your team is strong, you ideally want to do stuff while you're in the neighborhood, right? You don't want to be flying one place, coming back, going, spending an extra 2 minutes on flight time alone. So I like both runners trying to clear as much as they can while they're there. And I'm very curious if this plague fight, because this is our first big divergence. Both runners have done the same stuff. This is the thing Pankraz didn't do, and that Dusty is doing in terms of major checks. So we'll see if there's any kind of payoff here.
And Porum finally getting a step up from that. Putting the tiara on Rydia. I don't know what that does.
Power Shirt ain't shabby when you have this many fighters, but that still wasn't really a quick check, and it did not really open progression. Levels ain't bad, though.
And finding karate up here, not the scariest thing you could find here.
Especially when you have a Zerker Edge doing 2,000 a pop.
That is significantly more than the party that you usually bring here does.
Dusty now has at least one very nicely equipped edge, and is putting the heroine robe on Porum, but she is out of position. It could make it tricky for her to actually land these Zerks that I'm sure he's looking forward to casting.
And we find a Yang up here. No.
Well, I mean, we find a Yang, we find a Yang. Are we going to go 3 for 3 on Yang up here? I guess we've already seen at least one duplicate in the seed. I just think it'd be funny if there was a triple Yang tower. Dang. Duplicate Edward.
Bards are for yeeting, not for playing. And Pankraz says, no thank you, I'm happy with the party I currently have. You two aren't going to bring anything to it, and I'm going to take on the boss that's here.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Like, his Rydia did gain a few levels earlier on, but she's still slow enough here, I believe, where these edges in the long run will hit relative agility 1, max speed, max turn utility, whatever you want to call it, in time for the end game. So she's fine, but you probably don't want to risk her gaining a whole lot of levels down the road.
And finding another Lunar Sparkle, this time pale dim. That means we know every Lunar Sparkle, because the last one it's going to have to be the D-Lunars.
Yep. All the others accounted for.
But I'm trying to think of what bosses could be left on the moon that might give our runners some pause.
I think that they're all. I'm sure the main boss on all their minds right now is still that ant line at Leviathan. They're just like, please don't let that be required this seed. Anything but that one. And Tower of Zod, paying out with a Sand Ruby, which I believe does put Pankraz at 10 key items, but not a required item this seed. How do you, if you're in a race, Allie, how do you feel about that? You hit your 10 key item mark, but you did it at the cost of going through the entire Tower of Zod.
It's a hard one, especially if you're about to go up to the moon. You feel pretty good because you know that you can take your grind without having to worry about bosses. But Tower of Zot is long. And chat, of course, bringing us what could be miserable left. We haven't seen the alt gauntlet. We have a required Mazimune altar. We would all love to see it.
That as nasty as that is, our runners are actually in really good shape for it, I dare say. We have the Thunderclaw kicking around, which to me, if you're fighting the alt gauntlet at the Mazimune altar, Thunderclaw on a well-equipped Edge or Yang is priority number one. You want to be getting the bonus damage versus the evil masks in stage 1 and 2. Although having some sort of anti-dragon weaponry just as important for fights 4 and 5.
Or we could even have a required alt gauntlet at the Crystal Sword altar, which is not visibly as nasty, but a lot nastier than you think it could be.
And there we go. Lunar Shop is selling wine. FF4FE is selling the farm. Gonna be throwing a party with his ninjas. How much wine are we buying? Only 11. That's not a party. Come on.
That's like when you go to buy it and somebody's already taken one of the bottles out of the case.
There is some merit to not spending all your cash on it. I mean, there are a lot of fights here, and you would be able to use all of that between the moon and the giant and going back to Sealed Cave. But saving a little bit of cash here in case the Baron Weapon Shop is selling ninja blades and you can afford one there. Or, since we have to go do the forge anyway, if Kakol is selling Murasames, that's also a really nice pickup then, if you have the scratch to spare.
And we do find a Rosa up here on the moon. Again, probably a little too late for her. We've put a lot of levels on this Porum, and even though Porum takes more levels to get up here, we notably have not seen Sirens yet. But we also have not seen the Tomra shop. I don't think either one of our runners checked that.
Fascinating. I mean, it's a town that you have no other reason to visit except for shopping, so makes sense. Dusty, meanwhile, does get that second ninja blade. A huge thing for him right here would absolutely be to just walk on out. I think we would have seen an exit spell from Porum if that were the plan, so he'll probably be going up Zot here to boot.
And looks like we are going to see not the fight that FF4FE was looking for. Looks like might be looking for that 3-pack of Warlocks.
Oh, that is the rare encounter here. You'll normally summon them with a Siren. Now, there was one in the treasury. Did FF4FE use that when I wasn't looking, or is he just saving it for a more opportune moment?
I think just saving it because I did see it in his inventory, but is throwing away a lot of money.
That's true. Running from these fights will cost you. A cute little mechanic that I don't think they exactly preserve that in future Final Fantasy titles.
And does find the King Ryu's. This is a better fight.
I do get, yeah. This was actually a little bit of tech that was kind of discovered back around the RPG Limit Break race, and that's that this floor. People will use Sirens frequently on floor 6, I believe, to get this as the rare encounter there. On this floor, it's actually a full 25% of encounters, so running around hunting for it can often just pay off this way.
Very interesting. I never knew that they were less rare on this floor.
And this will make up for the money situation as well. Get the life glitch off, gonna get paid out big here. FF4FE will have the money to afford his Hanzo Steel in the long run, provided it actually shows up in a shop. Levels ain't bad either.
Just 9. Although that was that Rydia that we were working on keeping down. Does get 9 levels.
Yeah, that's interesting. Must have just wanted her to be an early game anchor, but now really wants her power to contribute to the team. I mean, she knows Leviathan, she has a tiara, so she can definitely contribute, even if in very squishy fashion. There, oh, he did notice the siren. Excellent, excellent. One siren, one mute bell, one free warlock fight. Gonna get a few more levels on this team here.
Both those edges wielding that mute knife. Doesn't get quite enough to take out that first warlock.
Oh, they're working on it. That one did. Hello.
That one just had a really bad day. I mean, that one had a worse day. And the fact that these are not the front row ones is great.
Another 173,000 XP, very lucrative. Rydia learning a couple of the tier 3 elemental spells. They have some pretty good utility as well, depending on your fight. And now okay, I'm guessing Pankraz turning counters off before he threw the siren. I was
Yes.
wondering how far he was going to take this regarding the levels and the Rydia and such, because, again, nuke is where you want to be, but there's a lot of seed left.
And having a 10 key item giant, Mazamune altar, sealed cave, I think we're going to see nuke on that Rydia.
Dusty getting the Sand Ruby as well, also hitting 10 key items. At this point, basically a few grind fights behind, a well launch, a little bit of shopping. Dusty will probably be very excited to see those. Oh, that ain't. Oh, he didn't do Sheila 1 yet. Well, we know what's there.
Speaking of knowing what's there, that's an alt gauntlet.
You know, it's not the worst one. Everyone in this batch is vulnerable to hourglasses, so you're probably okay. Rydia having Fire 3 just in time, very convenient for dealing with these fossil dragons.
But you never like to see the alt gauntlet on the moon.
I mean, if you want to get Rydia to nuke, there are worse things to see, right? Of course, shame it being alone and being undead. Pick your least favorite means we don't get a life glitch off on that one.
And of course, this one also being alone, and Pankraz is out of hourglasses.
Huh, alright. That definitely makes this a lot trickier for him. No hourglasses, no weak. Does have the tiara on Rydia is really great here because it's going to double up as both dragon defense and lightning resistance, which kind of puts her in a good situation for dealing with these King Ryus.
And I guess if you only have one King Ryu, the stop spell works all right.
Dusty curiously is walking that elixir out. If you don't have a lot of camping supplies, an elixir is basically a cabin, right? You just spend every last ounce of your white mage's MP to heal up, and then and then use the elixir. So I guess it's good, but we're still shopping for something. What are we looking for, Dusty?
More hourglasses. Or, sorry, more Star Veils.
Oh yeah, not seen D Lunars yet. Keeping that in the back of his mind. Although buying 10 when we know there's wine for sale,
Definitely might regret that after going up to the moon.
Anyway, here's the big money fight for Pankraz, but they are going to be a little punchy and a little rude. Image spell will help. Your own personal blink for your edges.
And while our runners are kind of going through a little bit of a grind. We just want to shout out our behind-the-scenes staff today. We have Harump on restreaming and Dubword on tracking, both doing a fantastic job. Inven and I just have the easy job of talking about what is on our screens. And of course, we cannot forget about our partner, RPG Limit Break, for letting us showcase this run there on their channel. We just appreciate y'all so much.
Seconded.
And of course, it's always a pleasure to do comms with you and Ben.
Aw, Allie, no you. No you. No bully.
I will if I want.
Okay. So, Dusty, you're flying to the moon. Meanwhile, Pankraz's levels are still going through the roof, but this fight has been taxing on the resources, Rydia down to only a few MP left. We do get the silver dragon dead, the gold one's still standing.
And I wonder if Dusty is going to have an easier or harder time with this fight, or might just say, hey, this isn't required. I don't want to do this right now.
Well, Dusty does have the hourglasses, but curiously not checking the Hummingway shop. So, gonna be missing those Bacchus wines.
Pankraz should have used lightning on this enemy. He's weak to it. He even says so.
Oh, an excellent point. It's a shame. Instead, using a coffin to get through, could have just zapped it. Pat, do not zap it. Do not zap it!
Absolutely zap it. At least once. Just for the lulz.
But make sure you've saved your game first.
Things that are fun to troll your friends with. Telling them to zap the tricker, and telling them to use white on a behemoth.
Or media. Baron key and a spoon. Neither one directly required, but I really like having that spoon here. Just having a very quick and easy quad 9 damage at the start of any fight is pretty juicy.
I mean, especially with a turtle still looming. Yeah, that's good.
That's one of my favorite things for turtles to do. I love it when they loom.
And we just have the Mylon and Ghasts here in this spot. Not the scariest thing in the world.
Zombie dance party, but Iridia knows Leviathan. Well, if she ever gets a turn after all these speedsters.
And that lightning not going to be doing much to that Rydia or that Porum. I don't know about the edges. They seem to conduct lightning really well in my trials.
So Dusty here takes no fights on the way down. Quite a bit of lower levels, but does have a very nicely equipped double Ninja Blade edge. But has a Porum here who has to pull... I talked about the white mages and how tricky it is for them to pull quadruple duty. Are you trying to heal with her? Are you trying to prevent damage by blinking with her? Are you trying to zerk your team up? It's a lot of things for this one small child to do.
Multitasking is hard, y'all.
And how many hourglasses does Dusty have left over, I wonder?
That I'm not sure of.
And this Deef also being super rude, we're actually seeing Curse have a meaningful effect on a fight for the first time in forever. Halving the attack power of that well-equipped Ninja Power Shirt Edge.
Well, and then just outright killing the second one.
The lack of a back row glitch is shockingly nasty. You mean I have to put these squishy little ninja boys in the front row? Ow.
And Pankraz finding a required pan. Going to be able to take care of objective number 2 and is going for the no.
The words of Skalakitty echoed in his head. Save your game. It's required. I thought we were seeing maximum swagginess there for a moment. I was like, dang. But erring on the side of caution, that Mylon fight was free, but it was slow. I really like taking the safe there. If it had been like a protect ring or something, whatever, we're walking. But that pan, like you said, that's objective number 2.
And we have an Odin here. We have 1 Thunderclaw, which should do some terrible things to this Odin. Rude.
Well, you say that. There's kind of a risk here. So the Zantetsuken attack here will do massive damage. The Ogopogo Swat just has huge spell power. Lightning Through from Rydia helps, but we missed out on a few hits because of that top edge taking a tumble.
I guess it's a good thing we saved.
I think Pankraz gets this anyway. Now that the top edge is rolling, he is very, very, very rolling. The sword doesn't even get raised. Wow. That edge stood back up with a vengeance.
And there is white on that Porum. And there's that protect ring.
Hey! Right item, wrong place. But objective complete. That lights up number 1 for Pankraz. Big levels on the team. I think that Bacchus wine is going to be so huge. Like, Dusty has the hourglass advantage here for these dragons and everything else in the Assault Gauntlet, right? But not getting the Bacchus wine is going to cost him a lot of time, especially with 3 big physical fighters on the team.
Hopefully he stops by that shop after finishing the moon, because you can still definitely use that Bacchus wine for Zeromus. When those black holes come out, you do not have time to zerk up 3 physical fighters plus keep the party alive.
We may even end up seeing one of the characters get dumped. It wouldn't surprise me to see an exchange at like the end of the Giant for just to get an anchor and condense all your good weaponry onto one single ninja.
And we'll see who is hiding here at the Crystal Sword altar. There's the D-Lunars.
You can actually just zerk up here. The viruses will... Yeah, there we go. There's the wine coming. Virus here is not all that scary. I like seeing the insta-zerk. Again, this is why Pankraz is like the player to beat right now. Well, Reset's unfortunate, but he knows the stats he's dealing with. He knows what each fight can do. And he immediately realizes, virus not a threat, let me just start hitting these things as quickly as possible to stop them from punching me. The punches here are the threat.
And Dustygriff has hit the trigger phase of the alt gauntlet. Gives him a little bit of time to just cure up, take a breath. That trigger's not going to do anything to you unless you hit it with lightning. And then it gives you spicy hugs.
And xPankraz's top edge here, using that Fire Claw to get double damage off against these D-Lunars, doing such good work here. A little Quake never hurt either, of course.
I'm very confused why Edge just smacked himself.
I must have missed it.
But is through. Gonna go ahead and pick up that Baron Key and that spoon, and I suspect we will see a quick check, and that's you can throw it.
You can throw it. The real reward here, of course, is the big XP gains. Rydia is level 50. That's right. It's time to throw everything in a microwave. Ooh. Wait, are we in go mode? No, we still need a Luca key and an adamant rock. I'm like, wait a minute. Huh?
Gonna go ahead and orphan these 2 spots left on the moon.
I like it. You have the pan, right? The thing that makes me a little more antsy here is the Baron key. But if either the Sylph or the Sheila 2 item gives you a Luca key, you feel absolutely fantastic. Even if you still have Adamant hanging at that point, you don't hate the coming up with at least part of these remaining objectives. And honestly, I think that that's something that we could stand to see a lot more of in these high-powered races. Because although here in the booth, we know Pankraz has a pretty comfy lead right now. The fact that he did far less looting and still had his edges doing the work they needed to do has really paid off for him. But also, he knows he's up against Dustygriff. This is a duel of champions. And even, again, I fully believe Pankraz is currently the best player in the business, and he is still taking those risks, making those fades. And I think more racers should do that. Be a little friskier with your routing. Punish people for doing the full clear.
And it is a little bit easier to do that when you're on your first race, say, when you've got a little bit of time to take those risks, because you know that you've still got at least one more race, if not 2.
I guess this is kind of randomized right here. I have so many memories of Ruby full healing my team right here. Wait, where's everybody else?
Fireclaw definitely not going to help you with this fight, but that Ice Claw might.
That Ice Claw is going to do work. Learn your enemy's weaknesses, capitalize on them. It's kind of a funny thing though, because Edge, in our youths, we're like, I just want to put the biggest weapons on him I can. Why would I equip a claw? It does so little damage. But in these free enterprise races, you do get to see people putting Edge to work by hitting weakness after weakness after weakness, and you see the big numbers pop up, and it's great. Very, very pleasant to see.
Well, and one of my favorite things about fighting Rubicant after you've gotten Nuke is you don't have to try and do silly things like time your Ice 2s.
It's like, okay, wait for the punches. I think if I queue it up now, it'll be fine.
Everything is weak to Nuke.
Ooh, wisdom.
But Dustygriff about to go take on that required Mazamune altar. Gonna get a Protect Ring. We'll see where his routing goes.
And that leg has fallen. When you're dishing out repeated quad 9s with Edge and big nuclear power with Rydia, even the 65,000 here, not that much of an issue. Dusty here, hovering over Zerk for a moment, being like, wait a minute, I have a Thunderclaw.
And still getting smacked by that Odin, but thankfully it wasn't the one with the Thunderclaw.
Yeah, but this is another tricky thing here, with this party order. It would be so nice if that Edge could have just taken care of the Zerking himself. But Porum gets it off, and now we just hope that the big hits from Odin do not take down that top Edge before the Thunderclaw gets rolling.
And we have a free Water Hag here at the top of the Giant. This is just free XP, and a good time to reorganize your inventory.
What a Giant, by the way. I wonder if our racers are... Well, I wonder if Pankraz is saying this and thinking, why did I do all that moon stuff? I could have just gotten all my XP here. But of course, we did have an alt gauntlet on the moon. etc., etc. So it's just funny when you have all this free XP here, you know. That Ruby fight was not a huge challenge either, and that's just 500,000 sitting here on the Giant.
And now Pankraz can see if that Pan and that Baron key pay off.
Sid here, if you do want to swap out your less well-equipped Edge for an Anchor, that's not the worst place to do it. But at this point, you still have a lot of checks left, and I don't think I'd want to worry about danning anyone. He'll be at Mysidia if you want him.
Dusty heading to the Crystal Sword altar. Meanwhile, Sid is heading to Mysidia, like you said, has no interest in changing out any of these party members. They're all pretty good. When an Edge is your worst character, that's a good day.
That's true. That's true. Pankraz headed to do these 2 pan checks. And of course, if either of them if they just combine to give Luka Key and Adamant Rock, we're going to go from 4 objectives to 7 objectives very, very quickly.
And Pankraz does still have both Lunar or both Fame Arch bosses down here. That Antlion could be holding something and in a much better position to take it on.
You still don't wanna. That fight's gross.
Well, just throw it in the microwave.
Ooh. Well, you know, if you're not going to find one of your 2 objectives from the fairies, that's a pretty good alternative.
Definitely. Pinktail does give an adamant armor in this flag set, so best armor in the game sounds good. But you got to go find your hovercraft.
I kind of like the idea. Like, I wonder if he'll just fade it now. Be like, nope, my hovercraft wasn't there. It's too far away. We can never get the adamant armor. Well, with these levels, you don't really need it, so.
And Dustygriff giving us our look at the Lunar Frogs. Great strategy found in ZZ1 on accident.
If it was on accident. Ooh, all right. 1 Luka Key to go. I think everyone says accident, but we'd have to get Dipwood up in here and be like, hey, were you... I could see that just being a very subtle, like, ooh, I've discovered this, and I'm waiting to use it at the proper moment.
Well, it was an accident at some time.
That's true. I doubt anyone at that point in the game was sitting there and studying scripts and being like, oh, does the... if you have a multi-target spell, will it ignore boss bit when reflect? Like, yeah, you're right. It was probably just an accident.
Now, was it done for the value on stream? Possibly.
And
Dusty,
notably here, oh god.
Dusty finding that drain sword or drain spear. We'll see if we have some divergence again.
Yeah, are we going to chase the pan and the Baron key? Is this a flight or a heal? Oh! Well, that's kind of bad news for Dusty, right? Because he's now following in exactly Pankraz's footsteps. Best thing now would be for Baron to be Bubkus, if we want Dusty to equalize. But Pankraz here just making more out of less with this team. Has done a great job start to finish in that regard. And of course, really illustrating the power of Zerkitude. Zerkitude? We'll call it Zerkitude.
Making up words, it's fine.
I think this Dark Knight Cecil's going to have a bad time.
Yeah, I don't have time to listen to his speech about things like justice and all of that.
Throw the spoon for swag! Or just hit it.
is it really swag if you're actually killing something with it?
I think when it's any fight at the bargain spot and you're level 60. Now this is cute though, because, you know, came to Baron, which does have both a K main and a K summon check, but is going to the K summon check first. Typically less likely to hold key items, and we know there's only one key item left in the game that we want to find.
There's only one key item left in the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
And also knows that all of those bosses that can accidentally make your day very bad, already out of the pool.
Yeah, like you said, we saw 3 of the nastiest ones in the overworld. Val wouldn't be a problem here. Golbez might surprise you a little bit. Wyvern the only huge threat.
And Dusty actually did what I always do. Used a cabin before going to fight elements.
Spot does give the full heal, so not quite necessary, but it's fine. It's fine. We are seeing Dusty's Spoon go out for the 10,000 -1 damage. Gonna be zerking up his Ice Claw Edge as well for all that bonus damage. That was the saddest glare I think I've seen in a while, by the way. Status glare not hitting an adamant wear. Here we go.
Yeah, this spot spell power very, very low. Nothing to worry about for most magical based fights. Still a little punchy though.
FF4FE finding Mylon Z on the Baron throne. And we are seeing a kamikaze used to skip a crumble animation. Who needs levels at this point, let alone what 11,000 XP buys you? So shaving off another few seconds there. Clever use of the J item that he still had hanging on.
But would you like a Palom?
I mean, I'm still tempted at this point to maybe swap one of my edges out. But I guess you do have to go Forge at some point. And decent chance of Murasame's being for sale. We have so much money from the alt gauntlet. It's probably correct to keep the second edge. You're probably going to be able to outfit him if you really want to.
And we did see that the dolls came upstairs and decided to help us keep that wall from going smush.
Dusty, meanwhile, taking down leg, not going to take a save here. And again, it's these kind of risks that, you know, we talk about save your game. But at the same time, these racers know you have to take some risks. You love to see it.
And FF4FE not finding that Luca key, gonna go ahead and check this Fey March.
Yeah, FF4FE did not fight the Plague at the Sparkle yet. That fight's the easy one. The Antlion fight, again, at these levels, this team, not going to be a problem, but still very punchy, still very obnoxious.
And speaking of punchy, that poor Kane getting punched in the face and going down, which is sad.
CPU Spot, some of the strongest physical attack in the game for a vanilla enemy that doesn't use physical attacks.
And FF4FE pulling out all the Bacchus wine. I'm thinking that not going to have a problem with this plague at all.
And rationing it back during the alt gauntlet fight means he has a perfect amount, pretty much, to finish the seed off. 6 left. I was like, that's not a party, but you know, you use them well and appropriately, and still has plenty left over to close this out.
And Dusty thinks about getting rid of one of his characters, but decides to hold on.
I am very interested in asking both these runners about their general plans for the edges, given how much it costs to outfit them, and what their thoughts were at different points along the seed start to finish. So.
And immediately going into that antlion, no need to worry because only a power shirt. Doesn't even equip it and says this is the proper place to throw a spoon.
Yeah, inarguably a fantastic target for that cutlery. 35,000 HP to chew through here. And again, this fight is a little rude. Just a little rude.
Is gonna hit with the edges. Does throw out a little bit of damage.
And also, just getting them entering the queue and automatically acting is really great for buffering all your other actions, all your other spells. And although the punches are nasty here, the needle counter isn't so painful when you're level 60.
Now, unfortunately, that Rydia going down, because speaking of punchy...
Yeah, one of the highest attack powers in the game. Yet again, with an enemy in vanilla that doesn't throw a single punch.
It seems like there was a theme here.
So, do we get our Luca key here, or is it back hanging out on the moon? It's somewhere on the moon. We've got Cave Bahamut left, and the Murasame altar. One of these two will have that Luca key for Pankraz, and he is flying back now. Now let's see if Dusty chases this Baron key, or if he returns to the moon too. If he returns to the moon, we're neck and neck. If he tries to full clear the blue planet, time is running out.
And looks like gonna turn in that pink tail.
So a little diversion, just for a moment. Nothing wrong with getting an adamant armor, especially since Dusty knows that Antlion is still hanging out.
Pankraz taking cave value to start. I think they're both about the same length of time to walk down, so either one is correct.
There's also the thought of, my opponent isn't done yet. Which one would they likely have done later? If you're into the whole metagame sort of thing.
And Dark Elf here. Definitely could be very punchy in second phase, but also very vulnerable to things like stop.
And weak. Rydia knows that spell at this point too.
And white.
And Dusty here is headed into Baron. Very reasonable, again, just like Pankraz did, to go for the spot that has two checks, one of which is K-Main. K-Main pool being weighted a little more heavily than K-Summon or K-Moon. We know there's no actual value down here, so Pankraz firmly in the driver's seat here. Dustygriff's outs are evaporating. This is Pankraz's race to lose at this point.
But Zeromus is still left, and a Porum is not the dream for your healer. All it takes is one nasty big bang, take out that Porum, and things can go pretty south.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that weak, as you said, and Dark Elf is down.
So are we going to go the full 28 out of 28 spots to check in the seed? What's behind that Dark Elf? That'll be 28 out of 28. Murasame Altar has the Luca key.
Wouldn't it be 30? Because didn't we have to do the giant too? Or is that part of 28?
Oh, well, the way I measure it is there are 28 key item locations, and Giant doesn't have a key item location. So.
I was just counting bosses, but counting is hard.
Oh, well, yeah.
Bahamut, not here to help me, so sad.
So we've not seen Turtle tonight. This team will not have any problems with it, but you know, we like to wave to our turtley friends.
And we do see Dustygriff also doing the crumble skip.
Hey, nice. I love to see a double crumble skip. Well done by both runners.
But yeah, let's see what our last boss is tonight.
And we have... Hey, Turtle! He finally showed up. Also, it's kind of funny, because Pankraz has been able to reset out of all these checks, it's like he has an unlimited supply of wine. Every time he goes to that menu, it's an 8. Do a fight, it's not a Luka key, reset. We do not need more levels. All he cares about is finding this Luka key and bringing this home.
And we'll see this wave probably come out, but with all the damage that has already been done, there's a nuke. We have 2 Zerked edges. I don't think this wave is going to do very much.
Although the other side effect of this, I guess this is really good menuing practice, because I believe this is the 3rd or 4th fight that I've seen the Baron Key and the Pink Tail get pulled down to the bottom. I wasn't using you before, and I'm not going to use you now.
But here is the turtle down, gonna pick up his Luka key.
Ding, 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 ding. It's always in the last place you look.
And I think at this point we've seen anything that could be even remotely annoying for these runners. I mean, we haven't seen Evil Wall, but Evil Wall would be in his vanilla location.
Yeah, not very punchy at that spot. Anything magical here would dish out the most pain, but even then, like, I don't think we saw Leviathan. Ice 2s at that spot would hurt, but it just doesn't have enough HP to deal with the power-overwhelming Pankraz is going to be throwing at it.
Leviathan was actually at the top of Ordeals.
Oh, wait, what's Ordeals?
That was that thing we did like an hour and a half ago.
Gotcha. Chat mentioning Time Waster cutscene boss. Yeah, I think Dr. Luge is still hanging somewhere out there.
Nope. Dr.
No?
Luge, take it out.
Who's even left in the pool at this point, Allie?
Evil Wall and Bahamut.
Oh, okay. Pankraz here at long last going to do that required forge on his way through this underground.
Same time as Dustygriff. And Stardust Rod seems good for Rydia.
Yeah. No Murasame is for sale, and an Avenger, that's not the kind of weapon we're looking for on these edges.
Will be a very nice pickup for Dusty's cane, though.
That's true.
Especially with the lack of Bacchus wine situation.
Yeah.
But this does say to me that Dusty is committed to full clearing, of course, just the Antlion, and then we'll have to go back up to the moon.
Yep, and we'll see if he does Cave Bahamut or the Murasame altar. And the funny thing is that, like, I can see his shoes here. You know, we're at the 101st minute of the seed, and you're thinking, if it were at the Murasame altar, my opponent would be done by now, right? It can't be there. They couldn't possibly be there. But both players kind of either adopted the same strategy or they just both metagamed the same way, saying these are the fades I'm going to make, and both of them just had the misfortune of taking things to the bitter end. Of course, the mid game for Pankraz, the the reduced looting, Dusty not getting a huge payoff from anything, made up all the time and all the advantages seed. And Nuke ain't bad either.
Yep, getting both those both mages up very high. Guess not even going to worry about things like agility because there's a point where you just stop caring.
Yeah, when you're level 60, you don't worry about it too much. Well, that would have been nice to have an hour and a half ago. You don't hate it, though. I don't hate it.
We still got 2 edges in the party that aren't fully outfitted.
Yeah, so that'll end up putting Dustygriff at 3 Ninja Blades at the end of all things. And it is a vanilla evil wall. FF4FE will have 2, but also has of course, the Mute Knives and the Assassin Blades, things of that nature. Nice little variety. But honestly, with some of this stuff, we might just see an endless array of yeeting from the second one. I don't know.
Honestly, either I'm suspecting we'll see hybrid strats or even just reflect strats with a little bit of damage thrown in at the beginning from these edges.
Yeah, that probably makes the most sense here. Your Porum and your Rydia are so strong. They're going to dish out just max damage, basically, with their holies and their nukes. But you can still dish out direct damage with your edges up until you hit the 45,000 HP mark. So they still have their gifts to give at the Z fight.
And for those who'd like to do math in their heads, which I'm sure both of these runners are wonderful at, just figuring out where's that threshold, when do I stop, how do I maximize what I can do.
Dusty here flying back to the moon. Let's see which way he goes. It's going to be so, like... It's a little silly, but it's really funny to see runners both try to fade things and then end up taking the exact same route. Yep, he is going to Cape Bahamut first. That's the misfortunes of the metagame, I suppose.
Yep, just a little unfortunate. Pretty much took the same route as FF4FE. The few gambles Dusty did make just didn't pay off. That plague. A couple other places where didn't find, an adamant in those chests. So just kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, or even just finding, any weapon upgrade for your edges and your canes. Like a Dragoon Lance would have done immense work in that alt gauntlet. Another Ninja Blade or a Murasame would have done wonders for these edges. But just the loot did not cooperate.
But I do believe it is time that we start to ask a question.
Oh, that's true. Those of you who are new to Free Enterprise, well, we move all the other bosses around and reassign their stats based on their position. Zeromus we don't do that with. What if you ran into him without a crystal? You'd have a real bad time. So Zeromus stays firmly ensconced at the center of the moon, but we jazz him up a little bit. What do we do, Ellie?
Well, Zeromus loves cosplay, and Zeromus has over 400 outfits that they'll just change into, depending on their mood.
God, now that is a wardrobe. And accordingly, that means we have a very important question to ask. Allie, would you do the honors?
Is the butt wearing a hat?
Is the butt cute?
And of course, whose butt is it?
Does it even have a butt?
Is the butt doing well today?
What's the pollen count in the butt's vicinity? Oh, these seasonal allergies, they're the worst.
And that is from Kingdom Hearts. That is one of the Heartless. The big scary one you fight at the beginning.
So let's see which kind of stats FF4FE is going to be employing here. can see a Starveil go up on Rydia. Silkweb thrown to slow the thing down. The nuke bouncing back off the wall. That's a free extra, like 1,600 to 2,000 damage. And we do see the Zerkers going up. So if we're not going to stop those Zerkers, I think. I don't think we have spare coffins or things of that nature. We don't have a Moon Veil to reflect. So this is either going to be hybrid through the entire fight, or perhaps a very well-timed refill skip. You can get this if you bounce Nuke and Holy past that 45,000 threshold, and then get the final hit right at the 61,000 max HP.
There's our first bang, our big bang with that Starveil. Not going to be worried about the damage done.
Yeah, a successful nerf in the very first start of the fight. Not a complicated process. We did get a nuke and then a holy. Let's see if this gets the kill or if Edge finishes it. Was the math set up right? Oh, no, that was the refill. That was the refill. We're going to be going through all the HP, full hybrid strats, but should not be a problem with this team.
Certainly not with the damage being put out. Still throwing white, still throwing holy, or still throwing nuke, still throwing holy. I doubt we're going to see a second big bang.
Ninja Blades divided amongst these edges, one with a Mute Knife and the Ninja Blade, the other one with an Assassin Knife and the Ninja Blade. Their damage is relatively on par with each other.
And there's a shake from Zeromus, or Darkomus.
Dusty, meanwhile, does get that Luca key. Last place looked as well. Heads on back down to the blue. We'll be following through the Luca cave, finding that vanilla evil wall soon.
We have rocks on Pankraz's side. Rydia just dodging all of it.
And that is the finish. GG's to Pankraz. Takes game one of this matchup versus Dustygriff. Did everything in the seed, and did it in an hour, 49 minutes, and 11 seconds. Beautifully executed. And we'll see if Pankraz wants to join us for an interview shortly.
And Dustygriff is going to be finishing up the seed very quickly, I'm sure. Again, has relatively the same levels, does have that cane, so we will see full Zerker strats on his Zeromus.
And has that Avenger, which ought to be pretty fun for that cane to boot.
But I do believe we are joined by Pankraz. GG's to you.
Hey, GG's. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
That was a seed. That was a worry fest and a half.
Just do everything, but do it in under 110 minutes. Beautifully executed. But the hilarious thing for us in the booth and in the audience, I think, was you and Dustygriff both ended up making the exact same fades in basically the exact same order. There was a slight divergence with him taking care of that plague fight far earlier, but y'all left the moon after the same fights. Full cleared the blue, went back to the moon, both went to Cave Bahamut first. Was this like each of you getting in the other's head pregame? Like, what informed your routing on the moon this seed?
I have no clue on Dusty's end. For me, it was a couple things. Like, after seeing the D-Lunars, I knew that it was Plague at the Asura spot, so that was a Plague that I could have done on Earth with my Boomerang Edges a long time ago. I had the Baron Key from the Alt Gauntlet, and the Pan, which is 4 key item checks to check. 2 of them came main. Kind of tempting, but, let's stick it out for a little bit longer. The biggest thing, though, is just the time investment of so many things in that seed. Like, there was Dwarf Castle to Zot to nothing. There was Alt Gauntlet to Baron Key. Like, there's just so much time filled into those checks that I felt that I had to cut some sort of corner to try and get a little bit of time back from just the length that took. The not having a couple hourglasses for the first couple fights of the gauntlet as well, noticing that it took me 13 minutes to clear those bottom 4 altars and so on. I wanted to do some sort of play, something to, cut a corner more or less, and start getting or edging a little bit of time back somehow, somewhere. I knew my execution up to that point was good. I was pretty happy with my play overall, but had to do something, and, well, I did something all right. It wasn't the right something, as we found out in hindsight, but I think that it was a fine play, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it all, anything that ends in the dub, even if you're completely palm sweaty, nerve-wracked the entire time in the mid-game. The other big question I have for you is your party composition philosophy. This is, it's T-Pro, S-Quarter, very hard to get a couple of edges outfitted. Why did you opt for the 2-edge party instead of maybe like that Kane that was down there on the hook route?
The Kane was, at that time, I had absolutely nothing for him. I think I had maybe a Blizzard Spear, but I did have 2 Mute Knives in my inventory and a Dancing Dagger. I figured with that, the Edge would probably be better, and Edge would be better long-term than Kane if I could just get something. Forge Shop as well, looting in the future. Maybe I can buy a Murasame there after some Moon stuff. Maybe I can do a Gold Dragon fight with these Hourglasses on the hook route, which I did eventually. I just kind of like Edge more than Kane in a lot of situations, and also with the stealing Bacchus wines and so on. I really wanted to do that at the Twin Harp, but I didn't want to run around for a random encounter, and I didn't have a Siren at the time. I wanted to keep as much options and utility from Edge as I could up until the point where it was either I got a Kane weapon and Kane's coming back to the team, or I'm pivoting to a mage party, or I have enough Edge weapons to outfit them both. And we got option C this time.
Gotcha. The yeah, that was one of the I think one of the big things that a lot of people watching the seed could really learn from your gameplay, and it was how you took advantage of Edge's flexibility to hit enemy weakness after enemy weakness and turn what would be pretty paltry damage numbers into massive damage just by doubling or quadrupling what you were doing. So beautiful execution as always. Allie, what questions do you have?
How annoyed were you when you were going to steal from those Mad Ogres, and of course it's the last chest?
Moderately, yeah. I mean, at least I got an assassin knife out of the rest of the loot, and a second strength ring, which was cool, but yeah, it never feels good to loot everything, and then you're like, I know where these Mad Ogres are. You open, the second to last chest, and you're like, yup. And it's annoying, but at the same time, you get all the loot in the cave, so silver linings or something.
Gotcha. Well, do you have any more thoughts about that seed and what you went through that we didn't cover that you just want to point out?
Not really. I should have checked Troya at the very beginning. Didn't want to go back. I did that as soon as I left Troya. I said to myself, I should have checked this shop. Maybe there's a mute knife in there, or an edge weapon if I find one and can come back. Longswords are pretty cool. And hey, there were mute knives in there, and those did turn out to be pretty cool. But happy with how I played this one. Spent time looking for some longswords and paid off with all of those utility items and the claws and the mute knives and so on. I'm happy with how I played, and I'm happy to come away with a win at the end of it all. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, when is Game 2, by the way? I'm sure everyone's excited to see this Clash of Champions continue.
Game 2 will be this Friday, same time, 8 o'clock Eastern, for Game 2. Should be, well, just as good, I'm sure. I'm really looking forward to watching this one back, hearing all the commentary, seeing us mirror our routing in several ways, and having a nice chuckle about it. It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to more matches with Dusty. I joked in pre-race about how this is Game 7 of our perpetual Best of Infinity, because we keep just kind of meeting up in tourney races and putting on some killer matches and some good races. It's always fun and always a challenge, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Well, we appreciate you letting us restream you, letting us, y'all are doing the really hard part of racing the seed and putting on a show for us, so we appreciate that.
Well, of course, and it's not all on the runners. I'm part of the restream team. I know the work that you guys do. So thank you, Ali and Inven, for the commentary. Thank you, Harumph, for the seed. Thank you, Dubward, for the tracking. Thank you all for putting on this wonderful show. It's looking forward to watching it back, and yeah.
Hey, GG's again.
Thank you. GG's to Dusty, and you all have a great rest of the evening.
You as well. And Dusty has entered his Zeromus fight as well. We see the triple Zerker setup. A little awkward since we didn't find Full Moon Boomerang, so not able to stick one of these edges in the back row for the fight, and putting Kane there instead, just so Porum can handle the anchoring. So we're going to see reduced damage from that Kane, but Avenger still does decent work here. And at these levels,
it helps.
Yeah. And to reiterate what Pankraz said, huge shoutouts to the behind-the-scenes crew tonight, going in for the long haul, big seed, everything being done by both runners. So thanks again to the Harumph for rolling it. And Dubward got to click, I think, every single button in the tracker window.
That seems very satisfying. Although you do have to pay pretty close attention. Yeah, if it wasn't for the behind-the-scenes staff, I don't know how we would keep track of anything.
And the Zerking will continue until this Zeromus crack booms. Holding the turn with Porum, with her gear. Big Bangs can do up to 2,700 damage. Her levels, her stats, her gear should not be a problem here.
Turns out the white shirt's pretty good.
I believe we have a white shirt and a protect ring, and of course, all the multipliers that her levels give.
But I doubt that the Zeromus is long for this world.
Rocks are falling.
No, Edge! Thankfully, we have a backup Edge to take us home.
Oh yeah, won't be long now. Meteor Rocks mean less than 12,000 to go. And the back row Kane steals the kill. GG's to Dustygriff, doing all that sub 2 hours. Just, again, truly impressive play by both runners tonight. We'll see if Dusty wants to come in for an interview shortly.
And with that beding, I do believe we were joined by Dustygriff. GG's to you.
Hey, GG's.
So first question I got for you is, just so you know, you and Pankraz both ended up doing the same kind of funky moon route. Leaving the moon after doing the bottom, abandoning the Murasame altar and Cave Bahamut, doing all the blue planet, coming back, going Cave Bahamut, Murasame altar. I was joking like, did you two plan that? Are you trying to get in each other's heads? But tell us why you routed that way. What was going through your mind when you decided to pursue those options?
Yeah, I had a telepathic route to Pankraz to know what he was doing, so I said, you know what, let's make this interesting. And no, I don't know. I was trying to kind of not play my usual game, and I had enough items coming out of Moon that I said, I feel comfortable leaving here. And of course, at that point, I had done everything in the lower part of the Moon, so it felt like a good time to split and just call it there. But yeah, it's one of those things of most times I won't do that. So it's kind of funny that it worked out that way, because it's like the route I would have usually taken would be to exit after Crystal Altar and do Murasame then. It obviously would have felt a lot different had that been the case. But at the same time, I actually kind of like my play in the seed, even though I was 10 minutes behind FF4FE at the end. Considering everything we cleared in the seed, I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, it's kind of funny that the one time that I choose to like change things up or spice it up a bit, that happens.
The other big like you two did a lot of the same routing, but the big difference was your party comp. He kept the Rydia around, kind of kept her low level until he got to the moon, then got her powered up a bit to chip in. You went with what a 3 physical attacker squad, which I on T-Pro S-Quarter. What was your philosophy of that? How are you planning on getting everyone equipped and swinging and strong? What were you thinking when you decided to go all 3 of the burly fighters?
Well, I knew I had that rune axe for the Jira early for the hook route, so I really wanted Kane, and I find usually I find it enough, at least like long swords or decent daggers like mute knives or whatever for edges to make 2 work. But this seed was super stingy on that, so that was like, you know, a solid hour in until I had any good power behind them. So I think I was when I had them zerked at the top of tower fight, they were doing like 300 damage or something like that. So yeah, that felt pretty bad. And totally, I agree. It's, you get pretty gear starved on these, but even with that said, I knew how long it would be until I got Rydia running. And really, I didn't have another choice besides Rydia early. Now, with my time back, knowing how long it took me to get the edges online and everything like that, it made a lot of sense for FF4FE to take Rydia there. But yeah, I think that's just kind of the way this one turned out, and the luck of the draw a little bit.
Gotcha. Allie, your thoughts?
Really, I guess my question is, what do you think you'll do different for the next race?
It's hard to say, because I like this race, I felt like I did stuff different than my normal route a little bit in ways, and I don't know if that's to say I should just go back to being as linear as possible. FF4FE is an extremely good runner, as everyone knows. And I think, you know, that he beats me in a foot race. So these days I need to spin something up, and that's why I tried to change my route. But of course I changed my route, and he has the exact same route somehow or another. So maybe I have to change my route back again, do some reverse psychology thing there. But yeah, we'll have to see. I really don't know. I have to think on that. I have to go back to the drawing board on this one.
Well, we know that match will be Friday night. We're all looking forward to it. I will have that popped up in a couple of windows, even if it's not restreamed. Very excited to watch you two again. Just again, the clash of champions here in the round of 16. Do you have any thoughts about that seed that we've not covered yet? What stood out to you that we've not gone into detail on?
I think you guys tackled the most of it. That was probably. I feel that was my cleanest bracket seed I've played so far, even though I felt my plays weren't perfect, and I certainly wasn't flawless. But yeah, this has been a really fun flag set to play, and definitely challenging and makes you think. So I'm looking forward to Friday.
Well, excellent. We'll be looking forward to watching you.
Thanks all. Appreciate it. And GG's to FF4FE again. And thank you all for commentating, restreaming, tracking. Appreciate it. And I'll see you then.
Reminder to everyone, make sure you follow both FF4FE and Dustygriff. They are both amazing runners of this game. They are just, if you want to get better at free enterprise, you can do a lot worse than tuning in to these two while they're getting their practice licks in. And of course, commentary team. Me and Allie, we're great. Who doesn't like us? Well, probably lots of people. Who doesn't like Allie? No one. That's who. And Harumph and Dubward really putting in the work tonight behind the scenes. Just shout outs to all of them as well.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, it is always a pleasure to do comms with you and Venerable. Kind of the person that brought me into free enterprise. So it's just always an honor to have you now as a friend and someone I can do this with.
No bully. No bully.
I will if I want.
Legit. Well, hey, y'all. Thanks for hanging out here on Limit Break tonight. We are going to be rating the main Free Enterprise channel for Game 2 between Possum Morpheus and Infinius. It's in progress right now. Don't spoiler this match. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in watching this one back when they get a moment. But enjoy some other really, like, Possum and Infinius both just killing it lately. Possum... It will not surprise me if Possum also just continues making this tear in this tournament. So, lots of exciting matches this week. Keep tuning in. Allie, what's the good word?
Just thanks, y'all. And we will see you next time. Have a great night.